Now we're going to make a band. This is super stick with the squares. Black super stick, number material, logo material, whatever you want to call it. It comes in different colors, but got this. Bend it over. Now if I'm doing an edge, I got this already folded, so I kind of know where to put the first half. So if this is the edge you're doing, you go halfway, stick it, and we're using the back of the seam stick so it doesn't stick to anything else. Flip it over, fold it in like this. Whatever you're doing, this is just a sample. So you get an edge on there, which it doesn't fray from the wind and that. You know, this edge too will have it. I did this one, and you can sew it if you want, but I just put it on there. It should stay. That's it. The Batten Pockets are all sewed. Just a straight stitch. They're all open to battens. So I'm probably going to do this to the foot, what I did here, the whole foot on the next step. Then we're going to do a sleeve. We've got to jump these batten boxes because I want it to come in, or actually I'm going to put a straight stitch across inside so it comes in slightly and then stops. It's got something to butt up against. So when I put this edge that I was talking like the black edging on here, then we're going to slide the battens in. They'll go into that little socket there, and then you tape them right in. That's pretty much it for this stuff. But so far, that's what we got. And hey, I could be the talk of the town. But totally unnecessary, really. Looks cool as hell. This material is way too heavy, but I got scraps of this all over. This is carbon. It's super light, but this is still too heavy for a Lancer, but it will work. You know, it's just a little weight, a lot of weight up high. Just use lighter cloth, or you don't even have to use this kind of cloth. You can use anything, as long as it's lightweight is the best way. Like cellophane of a cigarette pack. That's the weight you want, basically. So anyway, it gives you an idea what's going on. Where the mast hound is to hold the stays on. It's got to be open there, so I'm going to put a reinforcement on there before we put the Loft tape on. And we're going to go center, so. Tape. It's 2-inch tape. First part on the head, we're going to double it, like so. And then we're going to put it here. Put it on the inside. Seam sticker. The reason why I double the end is to make it thicker, reinforcement. Fold it, so. top end one. Go on somewhat like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is seal this up like we did the top up here. I need a piece of black super stick. Now we're going to put a foot tape on there, so I'm going to cut it here. Maybe squares. Right on the line. Fold it in half. Do this under here like that so it don't stick. I'll lay this down here halfway. It's about half. A little bit of curve there. Flip it over. Flip it up. This will give you an edge on the bottom where it won't fray on you. That out of there. Now we got the top and the bottom finished off. Okay. Now we're going to do the loft. And cut out the top piece because on here it's heavier here for the top of the rod. We're going to stick this on here like this, and the next piece will start here down. So, we go up to the top there, into there. Stick this side down. This is where the rod goes in, or the mast. That. Okay. I'll sew that piece on first. Straight stitch. That's the top. The mast hound's going to be right in here at 11.5. So we got to make sure it's open at 11.5. There's 11.5. So start the next one down there. Piece of tape. background tape. Got to double the end, so you got to make it a little long. And now we're going to do the other side of the tape, bottom piece, where the this is where the mast mount is. You put a little pad here if you want. I'm just going to put this little piece on here. Material is definitely heavy enough, but if you want to make it thicker, you just put layers of this on. Alright, we'll just do that. We'll trim it. At least you got something where the grommet goes. Now we're gonna stick the seam stick on the edges of the sleeve. You can pin this down if you want, but I'm used to just pulling on it and sticking it as I go. So if you want, to draw this edge, you can put hash marks on there to guide you along the way, but I kind of know where it is. So, it looks like 3/8, so I'm going to go 3/8 edge, mark it, 3/8, mark it, all the way down. 3/8, 3/8, 3/8 here too. This was folded over and sewn for reinforcement on the edge instead of having just a raw edge. So take this. Pin it. So now we'll lay it up like this. And you see there's a curve in there from when I did the luff round. Let's lay it one end. And this tape was folded, so anyway, we're going to put the end on first before we do anything else. There, and this should be folded, should go right up to it. So we know that's the start. Pin that down. You do this on a piece of wood. I just got a wooden table. That's all I'm using it. We're going to put some tautness on it, where it's semi-tight, not super tight, but you want some tension on it. Okay, we're going to pin that down. Good. Alright. So now, the top's already peeled, but you know what? I gotta get this thing. See, I can pull this off now. Okay, so now we're gonna line this up as we go. Where those 3/8 marks were. Just pull that off and flatten it down. And see, you're following an edge there. And if you have a stapler or anything, just to hold it in place until you sew it. This part's going to have to be sewn. So there's luff round in here, so you got to pull this out. Just lay that thing in there like that. Every so often put a staple. Now here is where the batten pocket is. The batten's going to come inside here when I sew about to there. It'll come in here and act like a stop for the front end, and the other end's going to get taped when we do the edge like this, or like this. Okay. I'll look for them 3/8 marks. Just keep running it down there. Pull the rest of that off. Okay, now we're going to sew this. I already sewed this part on here and sewed the top shut, so the rod goes in here. And your mast mount is here. So I'm going to sew this first. It's just a straight stitch just behind the edge. Now I got the luff on, okay? You can see by the edge there's a little lip right here. And I have it as a batten's going to go right between here and up to there, and that'll act as a batten stop. So let me get the battens and I'll show you. This is the batten stock I got at a hobby store. Looks like about, let me see what the size says. Anyway, bought this batten stock at the hobby store. Was like $10 for enough to do it more than one sale. As you can see, this stuff's real nice and flat. It's got a nice bend to it, and it's pretty strong. So what we're going to do is, let me see if I got enough battens for two or just one. Well, we can do two battens. This one, these two. I'm going to have to get another stock piece because I'm running out. But you stick this in here. It goes in the pocket like this. Arm out of the way there. So we're putting the batten in, and it comes all the way into there. We push it in. Now, it's all the way set right into that stitch that I have here on the loft. Then you can cut this, sand it, or whatever you want to do. I just use scissors and cut it right to the edge. Pretty simple. Then when we start putting the leech tape on, we're going to cover that up and maybe just put a stitch over that like we did here on there. So then this one is long enough for this one here, so we're going to put this one in. Now I'm putting the second batten on, all the way in. So it comes to this edge here, right sewn. There, it's all the way in. Make sure it's taut. I'm just going to cut the end off. Now I got two battens in so far. Ran out of stock, so I'm going to have to get some more to put these other ones in and this one in. But for now, I can show you how I tape the batten in with as we go along. So we cut these squares. There's a square width on there. Never mind. So now we're going to go up to here because we're going to double this every time we go to the next batten to cover it. So we're going to go a little long, always be a little long. It's going to hurt. Okay. I'm going to take this and fold it. In half. Broken tin, of course. So now this is going to go over like this and then hold the batten in. So this will go over that and then slapped, and then the next one will go over that as we go. So what I'll do is stick this on. Easy thing to do though, when you're doing half so it doesn't stick to everything, just stick the same paper underneath. Okay. All my pins go under there. What we do is peel this. Now you're going to overlap a little bit, right to the fold, and right to the fold. And then take it off, it comes right off because this is stuck to, and you just flip the other side on. And that holds in the batten that's in the pocket, and the next piece will start here and go across up to here. That way you got two layers on over the pocket so it doesn't poke through. That's how you seal it in. At the same time you're sealing the edge plus keeping the battens in. Sealing the edge and keeping the battens in, you know, here. So that's that stuff. And as soon as we get some more battens, then we're going to put 2 grommets in here. And she should be almost done. Okay, putting the rest of the battens in. Putting this one in all the way to the loft. Stops right here. Chop this off. And the top one. We did the other 2. This one's in. Now we're doing this one. Push it in all the way to the loft. Looks like it comes right to the end there. Now you can saw it with a saw, but I just chose to pick it off like that. So now we're going to seal in the rest of the leech and these battens with this tape as we go up. And each time we put it on, we double it right where the pockets are. And you can pin this down when you do it, but I just can do it like this. Okay. That's the black adhesive stuff, so we're going to use this so it doesn't stick to the paper. Fold this in half, like we did before. So now we need a length that goes from here just past the next one, so we're going to cut it there. And put that underneath so it don't stick. We're going to stick this on halfway, but overlap it. Overlap the pocket up to the edge, right to the halfway point. Stick it down, pull it back up, flip it over. Now you got the next edge going. Do it again. Run a stitch on there. I'll show you. What it does is it locks in the battens. So I ran a stitch on there. You can see. I ran a stitch on here. It kind of locks these in, poking through. Of course, you probably don't have to stitch it, but I just do it anyway, just in case. That gives you the finished look, see? Okay, and then the next steps, we're going to put some grommets in. And we're almost there, so. Got a little bit of shape. Gonna try Radial. That's how you lock in the Batten pockets on the end, once you get them done. They also butt right up into the stitch here, so that it's kind of like a stop on the luff end. They come right up to there, and right up to there. So that's basically it. This edge probably don't have to be sewn because there's nothing the stick. It'll stick. It'll stay on there. The sticky is good enough for that, but I just put this stitch in here to hold these battens in. You can sew that too if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. Now we're going to put in 2 grommets. These are a little too big for this, but it gives you a better idea how it goes in. You can use the paper grommets that I show in my other video, or you can just, if you have access to these, of course are a little too big, but you punch a hole in here. And got the die. This is the faster way of doing it. Like I say, these are a little too big, but clamp it in like that. Put this one in here. That's all the grommets or holes you have to do. See, this will be the downhaul. The rod sticks into the top of here, so they don't need a grommet there, and this is the trim. So, gives you an idea how that works. And like I say, you can use smaller grommets. These are a little big. That's all I have available right now, but they're easy to see how I do it. That's if you want super stuff. Actually, you probably don't even need this, just a pinhole with a thread through there. It'd probably be enough. It probably won't go through, but like I say, you can use those little paper grommets that they use for paper that I show you in my other video that you can put in there, and they're real tiny, just to have a metal interior on the hole, that's all. Okay?